Hello, hello, hello. It is Miss Champagne B, and you're on our show for another episode of Back to Black, where we get up with our Black entrepreneurs and business owners. Today, I have the lovely, incomparable. Yeah, so you like that already?
Nice. I like it.
Mr. Charles Ivery of Ivery Entertainment. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
How are you doing today?
I'm doing just great.
Thank you for meeting me today. I know it was last minute. This guy's on the go, so I had to stop him. I realized that we had so many female people that we interviewed, and I was like, we need some male with some testosterone energy. And also just to show that, hey, not only are women out here securing the bag, men are too, right? So tell me about your entertainment company.
Well, I have a company called Ivery Entertainment. I started it 3 years ago when I came out of film school. The purpose of me actually forming Ivery Entertainment was to actually redress the stereotypes that have been given by our community. So I wanted to make projects that actually showed us in our true light how we really are, and that's what I did. The first film that I did was about a young man who was killed when he was 16 years old, and what inspired me to do that was that when I seen his portrayal on the news, they actually portrayed him like he was a thug hooligan, showing him with a gun and things like that, and it almost seemed as though he deserved to be killed. And I knew him personally. He was trying to box. He was one of my nephew's best friends, so I knew him personally, and I knew that he was a much better kid than that. He was real silly, had a lot of potential, and his potential was not met. So I went ahead and I did a film, and I showed him in his true light. And as I went to the film, I just as long as I portrayed him in a light that his mother was approved of it, then I was good. So she liked the way that I portrayed him because I got as close to him as I could, and she was satisfied, and it came across really well. And I wrote it, directed it, and filmed it. So that was one of my inspirations for forming Ivery Entertainment, to actually show us in the light from our perspective.
Wow, and I think that's very important in this time and age, where one of the biggest things we talk about is having a positive representation of us, or just these ideas that when you see us doing these certain things, oh, you're automatically a thug.
Right, absolutely.
If you're not of that skin tone, it's, oh, your kids will be kids and boys will be boys.
Right.
So to have somebody to be able to speak from our perspective. When I first met you, what was it, like 5 years ago?
Yeah, I think it was 14, or was it 13?
Oh.
I think it was 2014. So yeah, it was about 5 years ago. That's right.
So when I first met you, you had a radio station, internet radio station that you did. Now
I had a computer shop.
Yeah,
that's where we broadcasted out of.
So you're pretty much a serial entrepreneur,
right?
Where you like to work for yourself, and tell me, like, why is it that you like to work for yourself? What is it about being an entrepreneur that you like?
Well, the biggest benefit of actually working for myself is you get to meet so many different people in different walks of life. You know what I'm saying? You get to meet other people that are moving, who actually look at things, a little bit differently. And coming from like working regular jobs and everything, a lot of times, time goes by so fast, and for me, the way, like, I didn't feel like my life would be fulfilled like working at the post office or something. You know what I'm saying? Being inside of a factory all day, with all the pettiness and people getting on your nerves, and I just wanted more out of life. So that allowed me, it gave me a lot of flexibility to travel, to see a lot of different things that I wouldn't have normally seen. And and I wouldn't change it for the world. Now, there's a lot of ups and downs to it because, like I said, you're not guaranteed a check, because I haven't had a check in 20 years. And you never know when your next money's coming. You got to deal with customers. It's a lot of different things that you have to deal with when running your own business. So but again, I wouldn't trade it for the world, because I am my own boss. I can move around freely, and I feel good. You only live once, you know what I mean?
That's right. So what's been the most difficult thing about being an entrepreneur?
I would say, like, what I had to learn in the beginning is, and I started off with a storefront. So it wasn't like online where, they take care of the payments for you and all that, but it was actually collections. Where actually I had a problem in the beginning asking people for money, like, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, after a while, I was like, listen, my bills and stuff is dependent on it, so I had no problem with it. And I actually formed a science to actually asking people for money without offending them. So that was kind of the thing that it was difficult for me in the beginning, because, you know, I've always worked better alone, and the things that actually were a detriment to me working for a regular job actually were very good things working for myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of ornery, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't take people's order too good.
Yeah.
So those type of things actually translated well into the actual entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
You know, so.
I do find a lot of people who can't take direction, or not can't take direction, but they don't like people to tell them what to do or to have to report to people. They're like, nah, I need to do my own stuff.
Exactly, because I mean, you know, like even when I was in school, like I was in school, and I used to cut school all the time, like in middle school. But you know where I would go? I would go to the library. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to learn what I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
The stuff in school was boring. So I went to the library, used to go to the car catalog, and I was staying there all day. And nobody would say anything because I was at the library. They'd be like, ain't no kid, you know, he must be homeschooled or something. So yeah, I mean, but I just like doing things on my own table. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's smart. Remember that show Marco Polo? Oh, I don't know if you heard about Marco Polo, but it's on Netflix. And it covered a lot of historical information that was true. And I was like, dude, if I would have known about this stuff, this is something I would have been interested in learning. And this talked about Genghis Khan and his whole family.
Right,
and all
okay,
that.
okay.
So I agree with that whole, you know, you want to learn what you want to learn. In school, they're teaching you what they want you to know,
Right.
not necessarily what you need to know.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
So, and for me as an entrepreneur, I see a lot of women doing it. You run into a lot of black men entrepreneurs. You network with
Oh
them.
yeah, definitely. And like some of my best friends also have other business because we have things like that in common. You know, I seen them from when they started and from where they're at today. And I know some people that are millionaires that, you know, I was making more money than them at first, and now they're millionaires. So I mean, and when you see other people that are moving, it's very inspirational because, you know, you can do the same thing. You see that all you got to do is follow the program and stay true to what they're doing or whatever, and just look at how the path they do it. But it's mostly about creativity. A lot of time you see that a need that someone may need, and then you start, you know, and then you fulfill that, fulfill the gap that somebody needs. Like I said, when I opened my computer business, I knew that there wasn't too many computer stores in the inner city, and I came at the perfect time where the internet was starting to be high speed. You're starting to get all the streams and all that stuff, so people actually needed their computer. And then the downside, again, if you want to go back to it, now computers are pretty much obsolete to the average person because now there's phones and everything, so you have to adjust to the time. And I could have gotten into phones, but my money on computers was doing so good that I was like, my phones, whatever. But see, if I would have got into it right now, I'd have probably been a millionaire myself.
A lot of things I hear is that it's easier to be the first in something versus trying to be the best in it once it's already established.
Absolutely, that's right.
So I'm just trying to get on the ground for a lot of stuff that you learn.
Right.
So you're a filmmaker, and I know some of your titles, The Detroit Boy,
Right.
The crossover that won the game,
Right.
is the one that's coming out.
Yes. So we're going to premiere that. That's going to be on the 13th of January, Gateway Film Center. We actually had a premiere like more for the, you know, for the staff and everything, but we're gonna there's gonna be another one in Gateway Film Center. And this one right here, this movie, the crossover that won the game, I actually translated from a book into a film. I was hired by two brothers from New York, Joseph and Jamel Ponder, and they, and matter of fact, with your help, you know, we developed the script. You know what I'm saying, and translated that book and came up with the actual script. You know, and all scripts, I'm not trying to get too much into technical stuff, but are, you know, based on 3 acts: the setup, conflict, and then the resolution. And so me and Champagne here, we came up with the concept. And certain things, you know, you were telling me like, hold on, no, ain't no wife gonna leave him because of this, you know, and that. So it's stuff that made sense, you know what I'm saying? So in doing filmmaking, I think it's a collaborative effort. And you know, because you can't think of every single thing, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so we, you know, put down the script, and you know, we just finished filming up. It took 13 months to actually film, and you know, we just wrapped it up in September, and now it's, you know, so now it's ready for preview.
And it's a very good movie. I had a chance to see it. If you guys haven't, It's coming out soon. Please support it because Chuck, or Charles, Chuck is what I call him just because you get on nerves. Charles is really big about community support, so I had the pleasure of being in one of his movies. He had Danger the comedian in the movie. You have a lot of people who's just from the community who came out to support you.
Right.
And can you tell me how that feels to have that type of support, and what can others do to garner that same support to make these type of projects?
Well, I mean, it feels good, and like, we're in Columbus, where Columbus is pretty much wide open right now. It's pretty easy to film here. Like I said, I went to film school in Vegas, and I'm telling you, it's very hard to film in Vegas. It's hard to get permits. You can't really go into bars and stuff like that and start shooting. Here, I know people that are bar owners in different locations and all.
So, what does it take to be a filmmaker? Like, if someone wants to come and do what you're doing, what do they need to do?
The most important thing that I would say is to make sure you study your craft. That's the most important thing. I see a lot of people who actually go out and they just, they're so gung-ho about making a film that they don't study nothing and they just go out and start shooting. And I mean, that's good that you can learn and stuff on the fly, but always make sure you go out and study before you actually start shooting, because you want to make sure that it comes out quality.
All right, finish out your thought. I'll copy and paste.
No, I'll start over.
Okay. Okay. So, you're a filmmaker, which I love, and a lot of people are interested in that. So, people who want to come in and start this and be like you, what can they do?
First of all, I would say for anyone who wants to get into filmmaking is to actually study your craft. When I first got into filmmaking, I knew nothing about any type of equipment. I knew nothing about a camera. I knew nothing about editing. I didn't know anything. The only thing I did, like I said, I did computer repair, and I used to load programs for people, but I actually never had a chance to use it and actually learn it. So I actually had to start from square one, and then when we went through film, that's why I actually went to film school, to learn everything. And I actually took my time, and from the first edit that they gave me, and I just started and I just built from that foundation. And I started studying, watching other videos, how to make it look cinematic. And make sure, like I said, and I was lucky too, because I was like in the last class at film school that was actually in that film school, because they're closed down now. But it was so hands-on, and it was so thorough, where they taught us, like I said, cinematography, they taught us writing, they taught us sound, editing, I mean, everything. And it was a small class environment, and I actually, like I said, took time to learn it. But with anything, the only thing that they could really do is give you the foundation, and you have to have the aptitude to take it to the next level. Because if that's the case, then USC would put out all Ryan Coogler's, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, but they're giving you the foundation to actually do the thing correctly, and then it's up to you to actually make it into that masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? Because we just seen this thing on R. Kelly last night. Like, he couldn't even read. You cannot teach that type of talent that he had. He was just already had it, and he had the aptitude to learn and master his craft. So certain things you just can't learn. Certain things you can't be taught. But you can get the foundation, and you can build on it from there. And that's pretty much what I did. So go out and learn your craft, take your time, and just look at the whole thing, because filmmaking incorporates so many different levels. And just master your craft. So that's what I would give everybody, because like I said, filmmaking is a platform, because you're pretty much God. You can put anything and make anything happen on screen that you want to happen. That's what I like about it, because you can actually paint any picture that you want on film, and people have done that so masterfully, and actually slandering people, that it can be used either way. So it can be used for a negative sense, and it can also be used positively. And I choose to use mine to bring messages and to also teach while I entertain as well.
Okay, that's what's up. So you definitely have a supporter in me.
Okay.
And after a lot of people watch this, you're probably gonna have some supporters out there. So how can they get in touch with you? How can they follow your journey?
You can just come on my Facebook. You can come on my Facebook, Charles Ivery, and it's spelled Ivery. And also have a page off of that, Ivery Entertainment, if you want to check that out. I need to be more proactive on that. I've been pretty busy, but I'm gonna go ahead and start making my page a little bit more lively and throwing more little videos and all that since I had the time. But I've been pretty busy the last couple years, because like I said, I came straight out of film school and started running. I started making films as soon as I came out, and I had just stopped a couple months ago, and I had a little break. But other than that, the last 3 years, I've been constantly making films. So yeah, you can reach me at Charles Ivery, and it's Charles X FOI. That's Charles X, F is in Frank, O and I on Instagram. If you want to follow me, and you know, I'll follow you too. I'll support whatever. I'm always into positivity and trying to build.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today on Back to Black. I hope to have you again. Well,
absolutely, anytime.
Also, for you guys out there, here's a little treat. We're going to add a little bit of a clip from Mr. Ivery so you can see what he's all about. Thanks for joining. Please share. When we talk about supporting Black-owned people, that's what we're talking about. Share these videos. Y'all saw those fight videos. Y'all know they got their butt whooped. But go ahead and share this one, please. Thanks so much, and have a great day. Bye.
He's confident, he's inspired, has a lot of ability. He's just a little raw. We might have something.
Hold on, Coach. Please don't tell me. You didn't.
Yes, I had to.
If you bring that cocky attitude, I will personally kick you out.
Keep your mouth shut and your ears open. Everybody drop and give me 20 for speaking out of line. Now!
Hey, come on, Sharon.
My mom kicked my dad out last night. My dad used to always support me, but now he's never around anymore.
Shay, you've got a ton of talent, and I'll be watching you this season. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hey, there he is, baby Jordan.
Is this a joke? I don't play JV, I play varsity. This is not fair!
I'm sorry, Shay.
I'm tired of Coach Scott. I quit.
You have to have a balance between discipline and positive reinforcement.
That positive reinforcement is why other schools keep stealing our players.
You want me, to pay you money to entice this kid to come over and play with our team.
Hey, what's Shay doing hanging around with those guys? They look like bad news.
Come on, youngster, you in or you out?
How much?
Minimum bet $10.
I'm in.
Why are you getting in here so late? And is that weed I smell on you? Oh, I know you are not about to leave Shay's first game.
Look, he doesn't get in anyway.
Mom, how can you admire me? I suck.
Now I see. Now I see.
I would never do anything to hurt
John,
you.
stop. We need a break.
I'm 16 years old. You can't tell me who I can hang around. Now I see why Dad left and hasn't come back.
And the whole purpose for our being here is to see what we need to do to get Mr. Ponder back in the house.
I'll see how y'all do it.
Do what?
Trust women.
You're not so tough, are you? No. I see why you've been spending all this time with my son. You just want to beat me.
He's ready to give 100% to this family, then he can come back.
My body rejected the kidney.
So, what does that mean?
It means that I have less than 3 months left to live.